Hey there, Pam. I'm gonna make you co-host today, okay? You can let them in too, Naomi. You guys can stay. Hello, 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 and welcome everyone. Welcome to today's Zoom meeting. My name is Ronette Turner-Corley. I'll be your featured presenter for today. Go ahead and make sure you grab a pen and pad so you can take some copious notes. And for those of you who are consultants, I welcome you to this Zoom meeting. For those of you who are guests and taking a look at this for the very first time, and those who are insurance agents, this particular Zoom is specifically for those who are in the insurance industry. And today you're going to learn how to unleash your earning potential. And it's specifically designed for you. And so I'm going to go ahead and get into my story. My husband and I, we've been entrepreneurs for many years, but I have been a licensed insurance professional for over 20 plus years. And I tell you, very short time ago, I got a chance to see this plan last year, the end of last year. And it has absolutely made a difference in my practice. And I really do this exclusively. I still offer insurance products should someone need some help with coverage and things of that nature. But this has been something that has absolutely taken over. Why? Because it caters to the masses. And you will see a product that's not designed to replace insurance, if you will, but it's designed to be a great add-on for someone who has insurance, and you'll see that, as well as someone who has nothing. You know, there are those out there who cannot qualify for anything. You're going to see how this will be a nice fit, and it will cater to that person who cannot usually qualify for standard insurance. So once again, relax. I'm going to go through the information. At the end, we'll have a Q&A. So make sure you write down your questions, because I want to make sure you leave here with everything you need to make an educated decision as to if this is something you would like to partner up with us or not. But I believe, this is my personal opinion, I believe there is not an insurance agent or professional or broker out there that should not at least have this in their bag. Why? You're going to see coming up. Once again, I'm going to show you how to unleash your potential, your earning potential with this particular company and product. Okay. They have more than 2+ million members in Latin America, the United States, as well as now the Caribbean. And they do more than 10,000 funeral services every single year, 10,000 plus. Okay. So I want you to keep that in mind as I'm going through the information. Now, why Assure for Life? They came to the United States in 2007 under the name of Protection Plenitude. Okay. And then Assure for Life was born because they needed, an American name here in the US. So the plan itself is called Assure for Life. And they are part of Grupo Plenitude, which is the parent company. And that company has been around for over 70 plus years, providing comprehensive services, awareness, and quality. Okay. Now, more than 2,500 organizations make up this portfolio of clients, and they make up this portfolio throughout the United States, Latin America, as well as the Caribbean. And once again, they provide more than 10,000 funeral services every single year. And I want you to make note with high quality. High quality, okay? A company been around for a long time, and they're providing the best quality out there for the masses. Now, what is Assure for Life? Well, I can tell you this. You're taking a look, and for those of you who are life agents, you're probably saying, okay, wow, never heard of this funeral assistance plan. And let me tell you this, that Protection Plenitude or Assure for Life, they are the leader in this space. They actually pioneered in this space. There are other companies that have come behind, but there's no one like the person who have pioneered this space for over 70 plus years. Now, I can tell you this, it's a funeral assistance plan. It's not insurance. It's not insurance. Let me give you an example. It's insurance-like. That's what I call it. You know how with insurance, you have an insured, and then you have a person on the other end. When that person passes away, the insured passes away, there's a beneficiary who collects money. Okay. This plan does not deliver money to a person, but rather it provides services. So within 3 business days of someone passing who has this plan, money goes directly to the funeral home to pay for the 100% of the basic funeral expenses. It's amazing. Why? Because it immediately meets that need. See, what you'll find, most people that get final expense or get some type of pre-need plan, what do they want? They want their expenses to be taken care of. So this doesn't leave it in the hands of someone to make the decision. Okay. This leaves it in the hands of, a service that will be provided directly to the funeral home to make sure those final expenses are in place. Now, what is that going to do for the family? It's going to actually offer them peace of mind. It's going to actually offer them protection. Once again, it's not done to replace insurance, but it has its niche. It has its place and it has its position. And what I love about it, because once again, it goes directly to the mortuary. I've heard stories where beneficiaries got the money and didn't necessarily provide the funeral services. And let me remind you, they're not obligated to. Okay. A beneficiary is not obligated to pay for the funeral services. All right. But this ensures that it's taken care of. Now, they have an assistance and coordination with the emergency line 24/7. So what it is, it's an 800 number at the time of death. What happens is the family or remaining party, they call this 800 number. That's with the company. And at that time, they're going to render their condolences, but then they're going to take over. They're going to advocate on the member's behalf to make sure that all the expenses are taken care of and in place and the business side is taken care of. That's very important. Why? Because if you ever lost someone, it's very emotional. And the last thing you want to do is worry about the business side and picking out caskets. You want to be consoling the remaining party, right? So, and the other thing too, how often have we heard about people who pay more? Why? Because you're emotional. So sometimes you leave the mortuary paying a lot more than what you intended to do. Why? Because it's all about emotions. And sometimes, unfortunately, those institutions, they do sometimes play on emotions. Now you have an advocate. Now your clients will have an advocate that will now advocate on your behalf and make sure that business side is taken care of and the need is met. Now, basic funeral services, I'm going to get into that. But when I say basic, I don't want you to think cheap. Okay, that's what I say with high quality. I don't want you to think cheap. Basic services, they provide quality services here. And they will transport the deceased within the United States, Washington, D.C., and Puerto Rico, and the expatriation to the country of origin of the covered areas. Okay, and we will get into that as well. Now, let's take a look at the coverage area. So the company started in Colombia in 1950. Okay, so as you can see, 70 plus years ago, the company started in Colombia, later came to the United States. If you're like me, you're saying, listen, I've been in the insurance business. I've heard of pretty much, I would think, most of the things out there, right? Why haven't I heard of this company if you're here in the US? Well, it's because they came as an employee benefit. Okay, and with that being said, they would go into the businesses. As long as you had 13 employees or less, they will provide that coverage, tell the employer to provide the coverage for the employees, and then make it available via payroll deduction. After COVID hit, they realized the big need. This needs to get out. So now people like you and I can become consultants and now be able to offer this plan to the masses. So at one point, we'll be a household name, and they're doing very well at that. Now, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. I think that speaks for itself. If you go there, you'll see the different testimonies and people just pouring out on what this company has done and how it's made a difference to their family. They're a member of the Latin American Cemetery Association, as well as the Remanso Funeral Homes Network now. They're located in all 50 states, Washington, D.C., and the unincorporated territory of Puerto Rico. They're located in all of Latin America, all but 3 countries. And in the Caribbean, they're located in Haiti, Jamaica, and Dominican Republic. So as you can see, they're widespread. And at some point, maybe even spreading to other areas. But those are the cover areas as of right now. Now, what's offered here? At the time of death, when someone passes away, members will have 3 options. Okay, one of three options. And it only happens at the time of death. So the first option is option one. That's the national option. That services the United States and Puerto Rico. So if anyone is in the United States and Puerto Rico, that is the option that more than likely be requested. Option two, the family can decide on a return option. That's the expatriation to Latin America or Caribbean. Now, what does that mean? That means if someone is here in the United States, but they're originally from Mexico, they're originally from Haiti or Jamaica, they're originally from, Costa Rica. Sometimes families, get their family prepared that, hey, when I pass away, I want to go back home. Option two would be that option where they would transport that person back to their country of origin. And option three is the roots option. That option services Latin America and Caribbean. That means if someone's in the United States and they have family that they put on their plan in other areas, which we can do here, that would be the roots option. Now let's get into those options so you can see exactly what it entails. So in the national option, the first thing you have here is transfer of the deceased to the local funeral provider. So once again, the person in the family says, listen, when I pass away, I want to go back. I'm here in California, but I want to go to Texas. I want to go back to Florida. This plan will transport that person upon death to anywhere in the United States where they choose to be funeralized. Is that amazing? That's a basic benefit in this plan. So this plan is somewhat similar to a final expense plan, but you'll see the benefits actually go to another level. If a person was in another country where we're covered, it would transport that body back to the country of origin. I think that's huge. It's pretty costly to do that. This plan pays for that, okay? Now, preparation of the body. What is that? Well, when someone passes away, you don't think about all the things that go into it, but yes, body prep is a part of this plan as far as being able to, refrigeration, embalming, dressing, makeup, all those things that come with preparing the body. Basic viewing time is covered. How about casket for viewing? You get those people that say, listen, I want to be cremated, but before that, I do want to have a service, right? This will allow that person to have a service and they pay for the rental of the casket. That is included in this plan. Funeral director fee, funeral guest book prayer cards, as well as a death certificate, which is very important to take care of business for that deceased person. Now, the family will have an option. Cremation is covered under this plan and an urn, as well as the basic casket. Once again, basic does not mean a pine box. If you take a look at some of the testimonies and also people who have experienced this plan, you will see it's something that people normally feel very good about paying for, okay? So basic doesn't mean cheap, but it's the basic casket and hearse to the cemetery. Now, the only thing it doesn't pay for in the United States are the cemetery charges. That's a totally different coverage. Okay. Why? Because number one, you have to have a special license. Number two is considered real estate, and it's not a part of funeral expenses. Those are cemetery charges. Okay. So when it comes to the cemetery charges, the family would have to pay for that. But I want you to keep in mind, and that's here in the US. In the other countries, it pays for the cemetery charges. But I want you to think about this. The bulk of the charges are going to come from the funeral expenses. Okay. And then if they wanted to be buried, once again, the casket, they'll get the person there, but then the actual dirt and the headstone would have to be taken care of by the family. But you can see it's still a comprehensive plan. Now, I want you to keep in mind, here are some benefits and things that you want to make sure you are aware of. There's 7 people that can be on one plan. 7 people. This plan, the plan holder, which is synonymous to what we call a plan owner in insurance, right? The plan holder will get a round trip airline ticket to attend the funeral of anyone that's on the plan, no matter where they're located in our covered areas. Pretty cool, right? Imagine that. So if someone passed away on the plan, they will give the plan holder a round trip ticket. Now, this is exclusively for the plan holder. If someone passes away 3 years later, someone else, they will give the plan holder a round trip ticket. So it's for everyone that's on the plan. Once again, this family plan can cover up to 7 people. Now, members of this plan got to be 65 years age or 65 years of age or younger. Okay, so members can be 65 years of age or younger, regardless of kinship. As you know, in insurance, in order for you to insure someone, it has to be an insurable interest. Okay, which is fine. But if someone wanted to maybe bless a neighbor, bless someone else, maybe a friend's child, whatever the case may be, they can do that here. Why? Because it's regardless of kinship. I've had someone who asked, can I get this plan on my ex-husband? Why? Because that person knew the ex-husband was not prepared. And should something happen, guess who the responsibility would have fell on? Her kids. So she said, I want to make sure that that person's taken care of so my kids can be free of that burden. Okay. Now, the plan holder must be between the age of 18 and 65. Okay, but members can be 65 or younger. And when I say younger, they will cover someone that's a unborn child in the womb. Okay, and you'll find out later if you have questions on that, but they will cover an unborn child. Now, if you have someone who's between the age of 66 and 80, they can too be on the plan. 2 people that age can be on the plan, but it must be the parent or the partner of the plan holder. Okay, so that's how that works. So once again, between 66 and 80, they can be on the plan, but it has to be a parent or partner of the plan holder, and 2 can be that age. Now, question is, well, Ronette, what happens after 80? Well, provided they got the plan before 81, they can remain on the plan until death, provided the payment is being made. No one gets kicked off a plan once you're actually on a plan. Now, when it comes to the membership will be canceled for non-payment after 3 consecutive months. So it's very important to let clients know to stay up to date with their payment. That's why some clients choose a year, right? Why? So they don't have to worry about it. But nonetheless, they will give them time to catch up. But if anything was to happen in the interim to any of those people on the plan, it would affect them being covered at the time of death. So, but what you're going to see is when you see how much it actually costs to have this plan, you're going to see why they have a 90% retention rate and why these things rarely happen. Why? Because it's so affordable. Now, every non-medical plan in insurance has waiting periods. And if you sell non-medical plans, you know that. Every non-medical plan has waiting periods. For natural causes, for a non-medical plan, meaning no medical exams at all, and they're not going to get all in your medical business, right? They will give the person with the plan the full benefit after 2 years. Here you'll see the waiting periods are very reasonable, and it starts with the accident and violent death and suicide starting on the 3rd business day. After enrollment, after the first payment has been made, they will cover accidental death, violent death, or suicide. And suicide is a big one. Statistics are showing how there's an increase in suicide. And years ago, people used to get plans. They had to put that clause in place because people used to get plans and then commit suicide. But now we know when it comes to insurance, you have to be on the plan at least 2 years before that type of, you commit that type of act. Here, after the 3rd business day, they consider it a violent death or accidental death. Now, when it comes to natural causes, it's 180 days, 6 months. I want you to think about the people that you have right now that that cannot qualify for traditional insurance. As you can see, this is a great option, Now, let's get into what it takes to qualify. There's only 4 disqualifiers. So what does that mean? That means it opens it up to now we can help more people. We don't have to walk away from the table when someone says they have congestive heart failure. We don't have to walk away from the table when someone says they have HIV. It's many things we don't have to walk away from. Why? Because now we have an option to be able to service those who are in need. Now, I want you to remember these 5 words: at the time of enrollment. Why? Because at the time of enrollment, the plan holder or any members cannot get this plan if they're terminally ill. Okay, if they have a terminal illness, if they have a cancer diagnosis, if they're on dialysis, or if they have a brain tumor. What does that mean? That means if they had it at one time, and now they have a clear bill of health from the doctor and they no longer have those things, guess what? At the time of enrollment, they can get it, right? How about those people with cancer that are now in remission and it's less than 2 years? See, with regular insurance route, you have to have a clean bill of health for at least 2 years before you can actually get on a plan. Here, you can get cured next week. And as long as at the time of enrollment, you no longer have cancer and you're cancer-free, now we can give those people a peace of mind, okay? What about if you're on the plan and you get it later? Well, same thing. It's at the time of enrollment. So as you can see, it's a great way to help people. Family plan protects up to 7 people on one plan. This is amazing. I had never seen anything like this, and I'm sure you haven't either. Standard rate states are 45 states in Washington, 45 states in the US and Washington, DC. Special rate states is Florida, the Carolinas, New York, California, and Puerto Rico. Let's talk about the standard rate states. It's $900 a year, not for one person, but for all 7, and a one-time $30 enrollment fee. For the special rate states, $720 for all 7 plus a one-time $30 enrollment fee. What does that come down to monthly? Less than $11 per month per person. Basically 7 funerals if you're in a standard rate state for $10.71 per person. Where can you go and find that? I promise you won't find that anywhere. They give a quality service for that amount of money. How about in the special rate states? Less than $9 per month per person for 7 people. Now, if you want to go up to 8 people, they do allow you to do that. And you can do that and add on an additional $25 per month. So for 8, it'd be $100 per month or $85 per month for 8. Okay. Now, imagine that. If the majority of members or anyone over the age of 65 or the plan holder lives in a standard rate state, the annual fee will be $900 or $75 per month. So the computer figures all that out for us, but just know that it's either $75 per month, or if you're in a special rate state for 7 people, which is usually standard what people get, is $60 per month. Okay. Now, what if you're like someone, or you have a client like someone who says, well, Ronette, I don't have any. You said I had to be for 66 to 80. I have to be someone's, parent or a spouse. I don't have either. So what do I do for someone like myself? Well, there's a plan for you as well. So now we can offer that plan to our clients between 66 and 75. In the regular rate states, it's $600 a year for one person or $900 a year for 2 people. They can become a plan holder themselves and then add on anyone from 0 to 75, regardless of kinship. That comes out to $50 a month or $75 per month, respectively. How about special rate states? Same thing applies. $540 a month for one person, and for 2, $720, and that comes out to $45 and $60 per month. Okay, so as you can see, rich in benefits here, and it's taking care of people between the ages of 66 and 75 as well. Now, here's what happens. We do have 1 member and 2 member plans. The family plan starts from 3 people on up to a max of 8, right? And then silver plan, either a 1 person or 2 people person plan. Okay, so just think about it. We only really have 2 plans, the family plan and the silver plan. Okay, but the richest benefits are around that family plan. Why? Because you can cover a maximum amount of people for very little. That's how that works. Now, I want you to keep in mind, these rates are just these rates for right now. Because of inflation, everything goes up, right? Eggs have gone up, gas has gone up, everything's gone up. Guess what's gone up as well? Do your research. Funeral cost has gone up. So for the company to remain in business, they have to go up too. Starting March 1st, they will go up. But I want you to take this into consideration. They came to the United States in 2007. This is the second time only the second time they've gone up. You know what they're going up to? $10 more on the family and the silver plan. On the other plans, it's $5. $10 more. So 85 and 70. Can you see how extremely competitive that still is to anything in the marketplace? Absolutely. We have something special here. Now, what I want to do is show you how you can actually boost your income and use this to be able to help people who already have coverage or those who do not. See, when I go to my clients, this is the first thing I tell them, someone who already has insurance. Listen, I have found a way to show you how to now increase the value of your life insurance policy. I can add more value to your life policy. And that has gone over really well because now they want to know, how do you do that? Well, remember, Mr. and Mrs. Client, that life policy that we set up for you? Well, we set that up for you, but guess what? Some of that money was going to have to go to pay for your funeral expenses. But now I found a way where all of that can go to the living and remain for your legacy in your absence. And now I can set you up with this plan that will not only cover you, but it will cover every member of your family, your kids, your husband. And now you can have this one plan that when that time comes, it will pay within 3 business days and take care of that need. And your family don't have to wait till the life insurance comes. See, when my father passed away, I saw how life insurance, don't get me wrong, I love life insurance and I know it has its place, but we had to wait 4 weeks for that life insurance policy to come. Why? It doesn't pay out right away. They have to do all what they have to do, and then it comes. In the meantime, this person has to be taken care of. Well, what happens at that time? Well, that's when you see people resort to other things like GoFundMes, right? Or maybe surrendering the policy over to the mortuary, and they pay a higher fee to do that. This takes care of that. I call it gap coverage. Just like we have gap coverage for our car, now we have gap coverage for our life insurance. How about the person who has nothing and couldn't qualify? This is the best plan to be able to put them in. So now at least they might not be leaving a fortune for their family, but they're covering themselves and making sure that their expenses are taken care of and their family don't have to worry about it in the end. So let me show you, now that I showed you how to position it, let me show you how we get paid on it. There are 2 ways you can be promoted, either through personal sales or team sales. Yes, you can build an agency here if you want to, which is really nice. So you can do everything like you do not perform right now as an agent, or you can actually build an agency. Now, let's talk about personal sales. Now, I want to just throw this disclaimer out here because when people take a look at this, namely insurance agents, a lot of times it's not that attractive. Why? Because if you've been around for a long time, like myself, I have some contracts that are 130%, 130% contract. So when I saw this and I saw everybody starts at 35%, well, it didn't look too attractive until I had to peel back the layers. I'm going to show you how when you peel back the layers, it's extremely attractive and how you can make an additional 6-figure income if you really choose to, right here with this plan. Additional. Okay. So everyone starts at 35% after your first 2 sales. Okay. Well, everyone starts at 35%. After 2 sales, you're at a beginner level. When you make 6 sales, that's in a calendar month, you move up to 40%. 10 sales, 50%. 25 sales, 55%. Okay. Now, so you can move all the way up to director by yourself doing 25 sales in a calendar month. Some of you do 25 sales in 2 weeks. You can do 25 sales in a calendar month, 55%. Okay. And this could be incorporated into what you're already currently doing. Now, let's talk about team promotions. Team promotions, everybody starts at 35%. But what happened with the team promotions, you must make a minimum of 2 personal sales to be able to get those overrides. So you can actually incorporate an agency, which is my husband and I did as well, and we're doing. So now, as long as you have your minimum of 2, you can stay active and move up in ranks with the difference. Let me show you what I mean. So you see here, junior is 6 sales, right? That's 6 sales. Provided you have your 2, if you referred me, let's say I'm an agent, you referred me, right? You referred me. Now I do 4 sales. Those 4 sales will count towards that 6 sales total. So now you're a junior, and the following month you're getting 40%. Same thing with senior. If you did a minimum of 2 and I made up the difference of 8 or more, you are a senior. So you can incorporate that as well. Okay. Now let's get into these bigger numbers. This is when you talk about building an agency. As you can see, it's very wide and very deep. Okay. So everyone starts here as beginner. As you move up, you can get to director by yourself, which is 55%. Now, once you start at the level of leader, it takes a team. You cannot get to leader without, at that point, building an agency or building a team and leveraging through the efforts of others, right? Just like an insurance broker. Now, imagine this. From this point forward, you can get all the way up to 80% on your personal sales. But here's what I want to show you that I had to see for myself and like I said, peel back the layers. Remember, I shared with you, I have 130% contract with some 100, some 120, depending on the company, right? Well, when I went and I looked here at leader, okay, off the top, it shows 60%. So a person can just say, well, it's 60% here. But when I start to look at the spread, and if you calculate those numbers, that's 120%. So it's really 120% contract. It's just spread it over the organization, because trust and believe, when you're at a leader level, oh, you're going to have some producing directors. You're going to have some producing seniors, juniors, and beginners. So that's a total of 120%. You know, same with director here. You'll see here, that's 55, that's 60%, that's 85. You see how that goes? So now you can see how you're able to see the plan in itself. And as you continue to move up the ranks, which typically for agents, it's not as difficult to do. Why? We're already out there doing the business. This is just another plan to add in our bag and something else that can be more attractive and attractive to those who are definitely looking for this type of plan. Now, let's talk about this example. So take a $900 annual payment, okay? Annual. That's $75 per month. At $75 per month, if we get 35% on the annual of 900, what's 35%? $315. So on an annual payment, we will get $315, okay? I want you to take note. The company advances us over a 6-month period. So what if a person paid 6 months? If they paid 6 months, guess what happened? We will still get $315 in commissions. Now, if they paid us quarterly, what's $315 divided by 6? $52.50. So $52.50 times 3 is $157.50. So you'll get that the first 3 months. And then the next 3 months, you'll get another $157.50 ongoing. Now, what if they paid us monthly? This is what I like about what the company did here. Because the first 3 months, the company does require the client to pay the first 3 months up front. That not only helps the customer to be able to have the first 3 months taken care of, but it helps us as well because there's no chargebacks, right? So imagine this. If a person decided to pay $75 per month, they will pay $225 plus the one-time $30 enrollment fee, which is what, $255. Of that $255, we'll make $157.50. But they'll be paid up for 3 months. And in the 4th month, guess what happens? $52.50 when they pay $75. By 5th month, another $52.50. The 6th month, another $52.50. Now they've paid us a total of $315 in commissions. But guess what happens after that? On the 13th month, well, here comes the residual. Now, you know we love residuals, right? That's doing something one time and getting paid over and over and over for it. Well, here it comes. Well, what happens here, at the beginner level, you start at 1% of whatever that monthly is for every client that comes on the 13th month and beyond. But I really believe if you're out there already presenting this information and sharing, that you will be at the beginner level. Starting at senior is 2%, and at director it's 4%. And at director, if you do decide to build a team or an agency, you will then start to pick up residuals on your agency as well. It goes all the way up to 4% and 2%. Extremely lucrative. Okay, so as you can see, we have the upfront money, we have the residual, and then I'm going to share some bonuses that they just now put in place that now are part of the comp plan. This right here ends the actual corporate presentation, and I want to put that out there and say that, because what I'm going to share with you now as we close are just some things that I put together so you can think about and also wrap this thing up, and so you can see how this can work for you. But let's get into these bonuses. This has now been added to the compensation plan. Okay, so every month a person has the ability to advance to senior and would earn $1,000 bonus if they do. Now they can do 10 personal sales, or remember, as long as they do 2 and their team does the other 8, they're senior. That's $1,000 bonus in addition to the regular commissions. Not only does they can advance to senior, how about those who are already senior and above? Guess what happens? Every 10 enrollments in a calendar month is $1,000 bonus. Every 10 enrollments. Do 20 enrollments. That's an additional $2,000 on top of what we just talked about in terms of the commissions. See, I want to show you how to turn your oh, by the way, into a 6-figure income. You can do that here. If you decide to help other people actually with this plan, as far as being able to market the plan and you are building an agency, these are the leadership bonuses that you can acquire every single month, provided a person hit the rank of senior, director, leader, and above. Okay. Now, here's an example of how you can easily earn over $100,000 a year making one sale. One sale. Okay. This is based on you building an agency. But I can tell you this. I already know if you decided to not build an agency and you just go out there and do it yourself, if you do 10 sales a week, weekends off, 10 sales a week, weekends off, that's over a 6-figure income by yourself based on the commissions and the bonuses, not including the residual. But if you decide to build a team and you had 5 consultants who were doing exactly what you're doing, just one sale a week, that's over an additional $43,000 per year. How about 10 consultants do one sale a week and you do one sale a week? Over $69,000 and over $120,000 a year if 20 consultants were selling one plan a week and you were doing the same. So as you can see, extremely lucrative. Now, you know what our members love about this best? There's no medical exams. We don't have to make sure that the examiner comes out, and we make sure that those exams get back to the home office in time so we can get paid and all those things we have to go through. Why? There's absolutely no medical exams. There's no cancellation fees. There's no immigration status. Ever wanted to help someone who maybe didn't have their paperwork together? Here, they don't ask for that. And as long as they're here in the US, they can get this plan. No background checks, no motor vehicle reports, none of those type of things, no family history, making sure your family didn't have certain things so you can get, a person can get the plan. How about territorial limitations? We can now help people who have family in other places, and now, provided they're in the covered areas, they can get those people on the plan. How about yourself? I know for me, I right now am licensed, I think between 5 and 6 states. Do you know? Because this is really not insurance. It's insurance-like, and that's my name for it, right? Because it's a funeral assistance plan, guess what? we can actually sell this across the United States without limitations. Amazing. No long applications. I did one right before this started, 10 minutes, right online, done. How about long wait approval? No more long underwriting, no underwriting whatsoever, no waiting for approval. This allows you to get paid while you're waiting for some of your other deals to approve. Credit checks, none of those. Doesn't matter if you have a 400 or 800, no one checks. So here's the thing about this plan. Our members absolutely love that because it makes it really easy for them to be able to acquire this plan. Now, who is this plan for? Your clients. Every single client you have has a need for this plan or people around them. Granted, I have life insurance. I believe you have life insurance. I don't think you can be in the life insurance industry and not have life insurance, right? But guess what? There were people around me who did not, for whatever reason. Either they didn't take care of it or they didn't qualify. And because this now you can cover up to 7 people, now we were able to get people on our plan. My brother, my sister-in-law, people who we would have been financially responsible for had something happen prior to something happening to us. That's done. How about community church leaders? They need to know this is available. Why? People reach out to the church all the time for help, and there's a need there. Life insurance pre-need agents. Well, the reason why you're here, because I have found it, it's a mission of mine to be able to make sure that every life insurance agent knows about this. Why? Because it's like the best hidden secret. No one really knows yet, but we're expanding. Veterans need to know about this. Veterans, only the burial's taken care of, not the funeral expenses. They need to know that. How about in-home business? People want to work from home, sales professionals, funeral directors, those rejected from insurance, employees on the job, okay? Now, actually, if you wanted to be that type that go inside of that employment and offer it to the employer, that can happen. And they will payroll deduct. Talking about retention, payroll deduction is big retention. Why? People typically do not look at their paychecks. And it's a way to be able to help those employees. How about those released from incarceration? This plan would actually be available for someone like that. Now, what I want you to understand the power of what we have as I close here. The power that we have is extreme. Why? Because typically with any other plan that we have, where, outside of maybe a joint spouse, two spouses being on a plan or riders for kids, typically what happens is usually only one person plan. This family plan allows us to be able to help 7 people on one plan. Talking about the value, up to $75 per month, soon to be $85 per month. But look at the difference that it's making and being able to leverage through the power of this plan. Amazing. Now, I really do feel like we have a fiduciary responsibility to help people get out of the situation. A lot of times it's because they can't either qualify, they can't afford, or they just chose to do nothing. But now, how many times do we see this online? And as being in this profession, it just does not sit well seeing this happen, and people have not, been given access. A lot of times they just don't know what they don't know. But now we can spread this awareness that we do have an option where someone can, help themselves and then help people around them. Because as you know, GoFundMe is not a life insurance policy. And here lately, you would think it is by the way people are using it. Now, how does this plan work? Well, at the time of death, the emergency line, the remaining party calls the emergency line, the team of experts pick up and they take over from that point and start planning and helping, and then they'll pay for the funeral expenses while our clients are, consoling the family, which is what should happen, as opposed to trying to figure out what's going to happen or just really, dealing with a lot of business that they don't have to. Put that in the hands of the experts and they will take it over. And it's really, really a nice added benefit. Now, how do you actually become a consultant? How do you get started? Well, you don't have to open up an office. You don't have to get, any type of website fee, no startup fee. All the company requires is for you to secure your plan first. Why? Because you want to be a product of the product. I can't, and I'm sure you can attest to, I can't tell you the amount of times I've sat across someone from the table and they said, listen, do you have this plan? And I have to honestly look them in the face and tell them the truth, whether I had it or didn't have it. And here's the thing. How can you go sell something you really believe in that's going to secure a family and you don't have it yourself? So the company believes that it starts at home. Get your plan first. I know we were excited when we got our plan. We really was excited when we got our plan. And then we felt really good about sharing with others. And then you complete a certification. That's going to take an hour or less. Okay. A little Q&A, get the certification. Now you're up and running and able to start earning commissions right away. Okay. Maximize your earnings. Join our team of consultants today. Work on your own schedule. You're independent, non-captive. You can do as you please. Okay. This will not interfere with the book of business that you currently have, only enhance it. I have someone now who's getting started and he's an agent and he's wrapping it in as a package deal, and incorporating the life insurance for the living like it should be. Okay. And using this plan for the people who actually pass away. No license required. So now you can actually help people all across the United States who desire to do what you do. There's been people who want to, sell insurance and maybe don't have a license, didn't try to get a license or don't have time to get one. Now we can help them be able to help other people as well. No chargebacks, 24-hour approval, 90% retention, a great addition to the host of products you already have. You can help those who do not qualify, and you can build a national agency, which is amazing. Why? Because you don't have to be licensed and you don't have to be, licensed in all 50 states or anything like that. So this is a great way to boost your income and be able to add value to the people that we know. So that is it. I'm going to say, go ahead. I'm going to do some Q&A, but contact the consultant that invited you. And it's very important to go ahead and secure your plan today, and let's get rolling, get moving. Why? Because once again, as you can see, this definitely has its place. And this is something that everybody should have in their bag. Long are the days of leaving the table or even talking to someone, because we do this tele sales. You're on the phone with someone. Long are the days gone where you sit on the phone with someone and they give you something that probably they can't qualify for, and you walk away not being able to help them. We're not doing anyone a just cause, especially if you saw this plan. Okay, so make sure you have it in your bag, because now we can go out and make sure at least people are taken care of. At the very least, their expenses in business are in order. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing here and make sure I answer any questions that anyone has. All right. Let's see here. Any questions? Go ahead, and there's a reaction button at the bottom. Go ahead and raise your hand. All right. Yes, Miss Diane.
Hi. When you are talking in the plan, showing us how the money is made, and you were saying this many enrollments and you can make this much money. I just want to be clear, by enrollment, you mean each plan, regardless of how many people are on it.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So when I showed that one for like 900 for the annual, we make 35% starting. The 315, yeah, that's for the plan.
Okay. Thank you.
Great question. No problem. All right. Let's go ahead, Dr. Roxanne.
Yes, good evening. Wonderful presentation, by the way.
Thank you.
And I want to start out by saying thank you for the consultant that invited me, my longtime friend, Donna Penna. Amazing. I did not know about the agency, so I'm over here just really shouting because I'm actually studying for my life insurance exam right now, and it's extremely frustrating. But anyway, was on the call last week, and I had a question, and
Sure.
that question was, I wrote it down, when it comes to church leaders, because I'm a church leader myself,
Okay.
I find that a lot of people will say that they have life insurance and they don't. And I've sat in on many meetings. So I guess my question is, and tell me if I'm jumping the gun, once I'm on board, how do I create this agency? Because people know me as doing, ministry and empowerment and all that other stuff. But now they're going to see something different from me. And I shared this with my pastor the other day, that people don't have life insurance. And you see a lot of people that are in their 60s that now do not qualify. The word that I did not hear tonight, which I kind of taken out of my vocabulary because I really despise the word, is unfortunately. And as I was listening, I heard there's people that we can help that might be in that category. But like you said, we're not having them walk away from the table. Was just there last year. And it was daunting. With insurance companies, they do take a long time, and the undertaker wants to get paid.
That's right.
And so my last question is, with this policy, obviously there's no beneficiaries. We don't have to have 7 people on the plan, but we can have up to 7 people. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct. Now I'm going to change your language a little bit.
Sure. Thank you.
Yes, no problem. No problem. Everyone's learning. Not policy, but plan or contract.
Plan. I have to learn how to say that. Plan. Not a policy, it's a plan. We have a plan for you. It is not a policy. So we put that out there right away so they understand they're not getting a life insurance policy. This is helping you so that you can bury your loved one in the case that they didn't have. And how do you say that?
Yes. Yes. Well, I have been, I actually sell it to both, be quite honest. I do, because I give my example of my dad.
Yeah.
When my dad passed away, it took us 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And like you said, in the between time, what do you do now?
Right.
And as long as I've been in the profession, I actually was like, okay, we got it, everything's in place. We have life insurance. And then we got there because I hadn't had anyone who passed away that was close to me. I sold it, but I didn't know, they never reported back that they had to, what happened.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, and so what happened at that moment, I realized, well, wow, we would have to have signed the policy over to the funeral home.
Yes, ma'am.
And they'll get the benefit and then give us what's left. And also, because it's considered collateral, we had to pay a little bit more, but we didn't want to do that. And we took it back. Fortunately, we were in a position. Yeah, they charged us a little bit more because they have to wait for their money.
Wow.
Right? And they're like, okay, well, it was like small little upcharge. And we were like, no, but we took it back.
Okay.
And we paid cash and waited for it to come. But that's that gray area that a lot of people fall into, that be subject to that, or GoFundMe or everything else, because they have that wait time. And luckily ours was 4 weeks. I've heard as much as 3 months.
No, it took us 3 weeks to bury my brother. That was, I can't go through that again.
This pays within 3 days. Within 3 days.
Yeah. Wow. 3 days.
Big difference.
That is huge. Thank you so much for sharing. Appreciate the feedback from my questions. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Did I answer your question?
Yes, you did. You did. Yes, ma'am.
All righty. Yes. Anyone else? Okay. I'm gonna get to you, Andre. Hold on. Nilda say, I know someone that is from Honduras had to wait for 6 months. Yeah. So this is a great addition to people already having life insurance. Absolutely. Go ahead, Andre. There you go.
Okay, great, Ronette. You did a wonderful job again.
Thank you.
All the time.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you are, girl. Hey, okay. I just wanted to start up. We have a gentleman on the phone. He just signed up today, and he's a funeral director and an insurance agent on the phone, and I just like to just, acknowledge him. His name is Philip Ruffin.
Okay.
He signed up today out of Houma, Louisiana.
All right.
Very
All
interesting.
right.
Very interesting.
Mr. Ruffin,
So Phil, if you
congratulations
had
and
anything
welcome.
to say or any questions, this is the time to ask.
Yes. Absolutely.
Great job.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you for that, Andre. Appreciate that. Okay, Diane, got you back.
Okay, I understand that we pay for our opening and closing, basically.
Yes.
This was the first time I've heard that we pay for our own headstones. So
Well,
I'm just wondering if anything else that I maybe have missed that we have to pay for.
anything on the cemetery side? See, the
Well,
headstone is with the cemetery. That has nothing to do with the funeral home.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So everything here. Let me show
here.
you this. Let me share with this to you so you can see when it comes to what we have to. So you talked about. Let me just go straight there. How about that? You talked about these are the services here that will get paid for. Now, it's the basic. It's the ones that it's gonna. That right there. As you notice, flowers is not on there. That's not, that's an extra added benefit that if a person want to add, they can.
Okay.
But it's going to pay for what it's designed to do. It's going to get that person prepared to be either cremated or buried or service, the embalming, all that stuff is paid for. And on the funeral, so it's the funeral expense side, not the cemetery. In the US, outside the US, it is. Now in the US, you have to have a special license and it's considered real estate. So they don't even deal with the cremation, not the cremation, cemetery side when it comes to the United States only. In the other countries, they do pay for it.
Okay, thank you.
And I'll say this too, just so you know, let's say even like we've seen where, the casket is a really nice casket, but let's say someone say, well, I want 24 karat handles or whatever, people, whatever, let's say one's a little bit upcharged. They will allow you to pay the difference.
Okay. That's great. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, let's go ahead and get you, Mr. Philip Ruffin. Let's see. You can unmute yourself. All right. So you have to unmute yourself. You see that? You're still muted. There you go.
Okay, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good evening. One of the things is a lot of those additional items, cash advance items, are items that I'm sure it's not going to be covered by this plan. And I know in talking to Mr. Jackson today, one of the things I would definitely consider is if we have people out of state, to be considered that national board regulations, you cannot bring a body across a state line unless it's embalmed. So you have those added charges of embalming and also shipping. And I know one of the things that you just mentioned, like florals, those are out-of-pocket expenses that basically is not a funeral home charge. Am I correct on saying that?
Correct. Now, when it comes to transporting, this is your lane, you know more of that. So I see why, because most of the testimonies that I've heard, when they transport the body, they have embalmed it wherever it is, and then they will transport it, and the other funeral home picks up at that point. Yes, and I see why, but that's paid for by Assure for Life.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Which is a big deal. Yeah.
Well, I can just share from what I experienced in conversation from Mr. Jackson, and today in conversation is definitely a great product. And just I'll just kind of share because I think I've had partial experience with it through our funeral home recently,
Okay.
where they did use a system similar to Assure for Life. I know it wasn't Assure for Life because I saw the paperwork, but it was one that negotiated the cost of the service and sent us the casket directly.
Mm.
And one of the things that I know I talked to Mr. Jackson about today was reaching out to our owner about considering even coming on board with Assure for Life, because I think it would be a big plus to a funeral director or a funeral home owner, to even, hey, I'm a part of Assure for Life. I mean, you never to have too much to offer to people, and you always have to have a creative way to generate more business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's so true. Upon closing, let me show you this because I think that's gonna really add to what you just said so people can see. This is a short little testimony, but it's about someone who is a funeral director. And not only was she impressed by the service, she actually got the service for her family and also now has the service to promote it at the funeral home. So let me share that with you really quick because it's a great testimony. Let's see. Okay.
Hello, my name is Chantel Wright. I live in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I work at a local funeral home there in the area as a funeral apprentice, a funeral director apprentice. Our funeral home was approached with Assure for Life by a family back in November, and who had had a couple of deaths actually, like within a week and a half. Very, very tragic accident for the family. They came in and they had Assure for Life. It was something that I heard about, but I wasn't exactly sure how it worked. And I mean, let me be honest, I really was a little bit skeptical. I wasn't for sure if it was going to pay because I had never heard of it. But let me tell you, the team at Assure for Life was so friendly, so helpful. They sent us all of the information that we need, told me exactly what they would pay for. And as a result, we sent up the invoice to them, and the family was taken care of. They paid, and then paid again a week and a half later in the same family. I was completely amazed. Once this happened, I said, you know what? I need to know more about this company. I want to know more about this company. So I called up, I got some more information. And as a result, I became a consultant. I got a membership and a plan for my family. And I became a consultant because I believe in Assure for Life. I believe that Assure for Life helps families. I believe that Assure for Life is a game changer in the death care industry. This plan is phenomenal, and I believe that it can help millions of people. So I wanted to be a part of it. I am so glad that Assure for Life has crossed my path. I'm so glad that Assure for Life is here. So if you have any questions about Assure for Life, if you want to know, does Assure for Life pay? You know what? Yes, Assure for Life does pay. Assure for Life is for real. You can count on Assure for Life.
I love that testimony when I hear it. Okay, any more questions before we sign off about anything, comp plan, or I will tell you this. So on Mondays and Wednesdays, we have this, if you know anyone who's in the insurance industry, I don't care what lines they sell, definitely they want to take a look at this because like I said, as you can see for yourself, they need it in their bag. They need it in their bag. Why? Because it definitely has its place, no doubt. And for me, I'm doing this full time, but they definitely need it in the bag. Okay. And we also, outside of just for agents, we do regular viewings and presentations as well, overviews. Like Ayana's doing one in an hour. Okay, in 1 hour, and that's for anyone to attend. It won't just be geared towards insurance professionals, but we definitely are getting the noise out so people in our profession can learn about this product. Go ahead, Andre.
Yeah, I would just like to say, this is really real. I've been in the industry of selling plots, and since 2001, I never even asked anybody about a funeral plan until now.
Mm-hmm.
And I became a senior in the membership in my first month, and it's really real. I mean, I got a $1,000 bonus. I mean, it's out there, and commissions and everything, and everything was paid on time, and I mean, it's just awesome. It's just awesome. I'm telling you. Yes.
Absolutely.
Everybody need it, and this is the type of business to where the advantage that we have, no one is talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
See, so we have an advantage there if you just talk and you just tell people because everybody need it.
Absolutely. It's a great solution. Absolutely great solution. Thank you. Okay, Mike. Saw your hand there in the chat. So go ahead. You can unmute yourself. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, hi. Thanks for the presentation. A couple of questions I had was when you said that the plan pays for 100% of the funeral services, what exactly is that? Because in my experience, I found that different funeral homes actually charge different amounts for their services.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Great question.
Yeah, so if you have the plan and you want to go to an expensive funeral home, like I did, what exactly is 100%?
Well, it's of the basic, not just funeral expense, of the basic funeral expenses. So how they determine that, right? What they do, they go into, so they can't just set an amount like insurance because it's not a cash benefit, it's paying for services.
Right.
And so what they do is they take the average cost for that area. So because even in California, what's in San Francisco is going to cost more than what's in Sacramento. So, so whatever that area is, and that's how they determine, what it is in terms of what the average cost is for that area.
Okay, so my wife's funeral was service. The service alone in the chapel was $3,000. And of course, the basic casket, I paid more than what the basic casket was, excuse me.
Okay.
And I think it was like $1,900 just for the casket.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be a basic casket charge?
That's too hard to say. They call that funeral home. Okay. So let's say if you wanted to be at that particular funeral home, they will call, and at the funeral home, they will negotiate a price that everybody's, their terms and agreements that everybody's in agreement with, including the funeral home. And so far, from my understanding, they haven't had anyone say, oh no, don't send me a check, So, and remember, they're in the business, right? So it's a difference when we negotiate versus when someone in the business negotiates, right? And that's what makes that big difference, is because when they can do that and go in there and the funeral home gets their money that quick and pay the check out that quick, like the lady was saying in on the video, they had two deaths. It was a family, and it was very unfortunate accident. They lost a son, a daughter, and the son's girlfriend in a car accident. The daughter died at the scene. And then later, a week later, the son died in hospital. Both those funerals individually were paid for.
Okay.
Yeah.
And another question I would have is, like, I'm 72 years old.
Mhm.
And what would be, if I only wanted to plan for myself,
Mhm.
what would be the monthly rate?
If you only wanted to plan for yourself, the monthly rate would be, well, depends on where you're located. Where you located?
I'm in Nevada.
You're in Nevada. So
Mhm.
the monthly rate would be, I believe now it's 25, but no, not 25, I'm sorry. It's 50. Hold on, let me go, just double check. It's $50. I'm getting all my numbers mixed up. But yeah, I believe it's, there we go. $50
Okay.
per month. And it includes all of those services, but for an additional 75. So if you wanted to become a consultant, now this is for someone, anyone who become a consultant has to have a plan that is a minimum of $720 per year, which is the special rate stay at the minimum. So this would be fine for yourself. If you were going to be a consultant, it would be the 75, and you can include anyone on the plan between ages 0 to 75, regardless of kinship. That's how that works.
Okay, so it would be advantageous to me to
Yeah, it can be anybody too.
add somebody.
And like I said, the nice thing about it, 0 to 75, regardless of kinship. I have a guy that came on board, and he was someone who used to sell insurance, and he came on board to be a consultant here. And he said his buddy didn't have anything, and he put his buddy on it. Yeah, so it can be anyone.
And another question I would have is for people that aren't insurance people, that if I were to approach somebody just wanted to get in the business as a consultant, what are you suggesting as a major marketing tool for people that don't normally get in front of people like insurance agents do?
Yeah.
Advertise? Can you advertise?
You can, and we'll talk offline. I mean, I know I invited you, so I know we'll talk offline, and I'll share with you some of those things. Everybody's doing different things to be able to do that. But yeah, we'll definitely talk about that and how to be able to get in front of, a number of people. Absolutely. You can advertise.
I'm asking because I want to know if the company, the Sure Life, has any restrictions on that.
None at all, as long as the name Assure for Life and their logo is not used.
That's why I'm asking.
Yep. But you can say anything else, just not their name, which probably you don't want to say anyway, and their logo. But everything else is all good.
Okay.
Great questions, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Thank you much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right. Anyone else? All right. So I'm going to get back to the consultant, or the consultant will be getting back to you as well, who invited you here. And just a few announcements so you'll know that. Now is a great time to get enrolled. Why? Because now up until Monday, and I like to say Sunday, but I would make it the last day, but I think it's to the 20th, which is Monday. They are waiving the $30 enrollment fee. So that part will be waived altogether, which is nice. So you can put a little money in your pocket, provide it just by getting the plan and, taking care of that. Yes, Monday midnight. Okay, thank you, Pam. So Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So on the 20th is the last day for that. And then also, just so you know, the rates are the rates right now, and you can lock yourself in the rate right now for at least a full year. Okay. And after that full year, you'll be subject to the $10 increase, but at least you have that payment for one full year. And anyone starting March 1st will automatically start at $10 more per month, which is still, when you think about the amount that it covers, amazing. Okay, so just wanted to give you that, and we'll be back next week, same place, same time, and we look forward to having you. All right, thank you so much, everybody. I'll make sure, and there's a Zoom at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Yes, so if you want to see it again in 45 minutes, get back to the person and they can put you in front of that information as well. Let me make sure everyone can unmute themselves. All right, you're unmuted. All right, everybody. Have a great evening.
Thank you for a wonderful call.
Wonderful,
I really
wonderful.
enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God
Thank
bless
you
you
so
all.
much. Thank you.
God
Thank
help
you.
a lot.
Bye. Talk to you
Bye,
soon.
everyone.
Bye-bye. Good night,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Good night.